Hello, my dear friends and family. Operator Starsky, it's so good to see you. I hope you have your coffee. I do, because I feel so sleepy for some reason. I have no idea why. That's what happens when you don't sleep enough. Anyways, we will talk a bit about the recent updates and news from Ukraine traditionally and around Ukraine, and also we will talk about some new clues that I obtained recently. They were there, but I ignored them for some reason. But it's extremely interesting. And first of all, let's check out the recent updates from the Russia, where yesterday quite a few Ukrainian drones were... Why I cannot see myself? Oh my god. Not like I miss my ugly face. But there I am. So yesterday a bunch of good Ukrainian drones had visited Russia one more time and brought beautiful Christmas vibes and joy to the Russian Federation. The Russians are reporting approximately 14 explosions over Tula, Lula, and they had a big missile alert. The locals are saying that around 3 a.m. there were explosions. The explosions started, and according to the witnesses, there were a lot of fireworks, a lot of fire flashes and stuff like that. We don't have any details so far regarding the Russian losses and what exactly was hit there, but I remember that there is a Russian military factory there in the area. So yesterday, as you probably remember, President Zelensky and President Trump had a meeting before that, and after that, apparently Trump called his best buddy, internationally wanted war criminal Putin, widely known as Huilo, to consult, what to do with the rebellious Ukraine that just doesn't want to die. Yesterday there were plenty of different statements made, and as you probably remember, they discussed all those 20 points, of the peace plan, and Trump offered 15 years of security guarantees, which is Like I feel so cringe when I hear the word security guarantees for obvious reasons. We already signed a bunch of security guarantees starting 1994, but it didn't work for some reason. Security guarantees and generally agreements with Russia for some reason just don't work, all right? And then yesterday they had a bunch of statements, and one of the cringiest statements was made by President Donald Trump, who said that Russian dictator Putin wants to see thriving, successful Ukraine. Let's check it out, all right?
Because he wants to see Ukraine succeed. Once it sounds a little strange, but I was explaining to the president.
Yeah, kind of strange. Apparently, Putin wants to see Ukraine as successful as Russia, right? Putin wants to see Ukraine that suffers from schools falling apart, people having no firewood because they don't have anything, to warm their apartment with, and that's the one. That's the dude. And that is why apparently Putin wants to make Ukraine look like Russia, right? He succeeds, unfortunately, because we can see that Ukraine, due to those strikes, slowly turns into something like Kolyma, due to the Russian missiles, all right? Not due to people, but due to the Russian missiles and drones that eat Ukrainian infrastructure. So yeah, the face of Ukrainian president listening to this bullshit, all right? I can completely feel what he feels, all right, when you listen to this fucking blabber coming from a dude who literally yesterday learned where Ukraine literally is on the world map, and who doesn't even understand which country invaded first, all right? But I hope that slowly he will get it, all right? Eventually he will get it. Because we all have a right to evolve, right? Krasnodarsk, there was a report of a strike. It's like the freshest one, a strike on the Russian airbase Khanskaya. Yeah, there's a lot of tracing bullets over there. Again, no details so far because it's fresh news. And recently there was a lot of panic regarding the Russians launching their new satellite. So you probably heard those news as well. The Russians launched their new super pooper satellite with a resolution of something 1 meter per pixel and stuff, and everybody is panicking, all right? So first of all, people, I want to tell everybody who is panicking at this point that the satellite, before it starts actually working, it's gotta go through several stages, all right? Because again, there's a lot of zrada, this Ukrainian zrada, and people are panicking. Oh my God, Russians launched a satellite. There are several stages like deploying systems, then all sorts of maintenance, automatic maintenance, calibration, and things like that. And it takes a lot of time. And also 1 meter per pixel, it's not the best quality ever, because currently Ukraine uses satellites with a resolution of 0.5 meter per pixel. And just so you could understand the difference, all right? That is on the left, that is 1 meter per pixel, and there on the right, that is 0.5 meter per pixel, just to make sure that people understand. What else do we have? So yesterday, Trump, my God, I don't know. He's gotta change his copywriter, all right? On the other hand, let him have this person.
Russia agree, or did Putin agree to a ceasefire to allow a referendum to take
Not a
place?
ceasefire, and that's one of the points that we're working on right now. No, not a ceasefire. He feels that, look, they're fighting and to stop, and then if they have to start again, which is a possibility, he doesn't want to be in that position. I understand that position.
Of course, he understands that position. So basically, what he says is that Russians don't want a ceasefire. Basically, he said that Putin doesn't want to stop fighting, which is 100% correct. That is exactly what Putin was saying on the television all this time. All right. What else do we have? So we have some more footage coming from Tula. The Russians are reporting that ballistic missiles were used. This amazing holiday music, all right? Holiday music for the Russians. Oh my God, it's so cool that Russians can now enjoy this just like Ukrainians do, all right? This amazing holiday music will now settle and live in the Terrorist Federation, which makes me absolutely happy because, after all, Russians deserved all this shit. Yeah, the same video. Oh, that one was cringy. Actually, I don't even know what to joke about because we can see Lukashenko, right? We can see Lukashenko merging with the ice over there, and all that is because Lukashenko is fucking showing off all the time. Don't do that, dude. Be more humble, right? And everything will be fine. But I gotta tell you instantly, right? Immediately, that because he fell on his fucking head, it means that his brain could not be damaged. So basically, everything will be, unfortunately, fine with Belarusian dictator. We expected a bit different outcome, but maybe next time, all right? Maybe next time. So, according to the Fox News, yesterday's negotiations between Trump and Zelensky could actually allow first, over the past 5 years, a phone call between Zelensky and Putin. I can imagine how exactly that phone call, what it's gotta look like, all right? And we have another update. Traditionally, friends, I'm translating all that to you as much as I can. So, Umar Kremlov, that is a president or chief of the Russian Boxing Federation. That is literally the organization that unites all sort of Russian sportsmen who want to get more acquainted with chemicals, right? Like that experimental sports. So Umar Kremlov said that, according to his data, Americans several times already informed Russian terrorists that Russia will be allowed to participate in the Olympic Games 2028 using Russian Aquafresh, Russian tricolor, all right, on their flags, because since 2022 Olympic Games were proper, all right, so after Russian Federation was recognized as a terrorist state by the European Union, by NATO Parliamentary Assembly, and all that time while they were conducting their terrorist attacks on Ukraine, the Russian chemists, all right, the Russian chemists that are called sportsmen for some reason, sportsmen, champions, athletes, they were not allowed to participate in the Olympic Games, which is an absolutely proper thing, because if Russians act like terrorists, it's obvious that we gotta cancel them wherever we can. But because Trump administration only cancels people who speak truth, all right, or don't say what he likes, and he loves fucking terrorists so much. He decided that they should also participate, and apparently there's a big Russian lobby working very, very hard with their American friends and probably future military allies, I don't know, in terms of allowing Russian terrorists to participate in the Olympic Games 2028. Majority of the Russian athletes, and we already talked about that, majority of the Russian athletes, they have military ranks, and also quite a few of those Russian athletes that are prepared for all sorts of different international competitions and different contests, games, whatever. Besides having military rank, they also participate in all sorts of propagandist tours around the terrorist federation, and they recruit people, they promote service in the terrorist army, so more and more naive Russian cannon fodder can actually sign contract, join the ranks of the Russian terrorist army, and then go to Ukraine, either kill Ukrainian people or turn into a fertilizer for Ukrainian cucumbers. And basically, at this point, we can see that this Russian lobby is working with their American friends, trying to allow Russian chemists to participate in the Olympic Games. Which is kind of, yeah, it's cringy, but make conclusions yourself, all right? So Peskov, that's according to that terror Russian mustachio man, spokesman for the Russian internationally wanted war criminal Putin. According to him, Ukraine should completely withdraw its troops from Donbass, so the combat would stop, all right? Which, if you believe him, please let me know in the commentaries, all right? Just put like some sign, all right, in the commentaries. If you believe, all right, if you believe that they will stop shooting, sending drones at Ukraine, if Ukraine withdraws troops from Donbass. Because as far as I remember, that's not what they demanded beforehand, because earlier they demanded Ukraine to withdraw not only from Donbass, but also Zaporizhia, also Kherson, Mykolaiv, whatever. The places that they don't control, all right, they don't control those areas, those territories. They don't control even a single major city in Ukraine since 2022, besides those that were captured earlier, like Donetsk and Luhansk, since 2014, right? But they demand Ukraine to give up those territories, and also they already included those territories without controlling them in they attach them to the map, right, to the map of the terrorist federation. So it's kind of cringy, but only Trump can trust them, all right, because only Trump can save them. Zelensky is ready to meet Russian terrorist Putin, but the only condition for this meeting is that he will stick to his words, all right? He said that it's kind of weird, and I told Trump about it, that from, on one hand, he's saying, he's telling to the President of the United States that he wants to end the war, and this is his big desire, and on the other hand, in the media, in the Russian media, of course, because Americans usually don't speak Russian as well as anyone else, right? Like, why would we? All right, it's logical. So his messages in the Russian media, messages that are being sent to the internal audience, is that he is prepared and wants to continue this war. He's striking us with missiles. He openly says about this. He celebrates the results of destroying of civil infrastructure in Ukraine. Gives some kind of orders to his generals where to go and what to capture. That's the quote from the Ukrainian President Zelensky. To those who scream on that side of the screen, I'm sure that there are no such people there in the chat, because we are all legendary here, you, my dear friends and family. But I am sure that some people will be watching this and saying, "Why cannot you just stop the war?" All right. Well, basically that is the reason, because we didn't start the war. All right. We are not those who should stop the war. There was another update recently. The Russians posted a video showing their strike on Ukrainian airports. I have this video somewhere, but it will take a lot of time to find it, actually. And they were bragging about destroying Ukrainian An-26 cargo aircraft and few others, right? And basically one of Ukrainian publics in Telegram channel debunked this stuff, because first of all, in that area in Mykolaiv there are no working An-26, and basically all those civilian aircraft that were destroyed on the ground, that's basically aircraft that were grounded since 2022. So why Russians are celebrating that strike, I have literally no idea. We have, I'm sure that you don't know about this, but Russians actually have their very, very own version of Spider-Man right there on the screen. That is Russian Spider-Man, Spider-Man of a smoker, all right? I think that a bit more training and basically he will be able to participate in the Russian Olympic Games 2028, 100%. Привіт з Польщі. Шкода, що напад на будинок Гітлера не був правдою. We will talk about this. We will talk about this in just a second. Let me enjoy this picture, all right? Because you don't see things like that often. One of the most popular things that we saw, related to Gopnik culture and stuff like that, was like, that Gopnik with 2 bottles of beer dancing, and this one, I believe, is natural development of that Gopnik. Now he looks like that, right? High jump, maybe not very high, maybe like average jump, not too high jump, right? But it's a proper jump to the other side. I tell you that. So let's talk about something else, because we have some more cringe that I would like to talk about. This morning, as it turns out, this morning Putin called President Trump and started crying over the phone because evil Ukraine attacked his home, according to Putin, who is so much trustworthy. Putin, who never invaded Ukraine, and I can actually imagine the way it looked like, he was sitting there in the bunker, probably choosing high heels for his next date with Trump, because Trump is a big guy. He's a tall, all right? He's a tall guy, and Putin cannot afford looking short next to Trump. And he was probably picking his high heels. I'm sure you know that he's wearing high heels because Putin has this complex. He's a tiny dude, and he has this psychological complex. He feels very inconfident, right, when he's tiny compared to other leaders. And I bet that he received some kind of SMS or some kind of message from his monitoring services that Ukraine launched drones. And it's not even the fact that they were heading towards his house. All right, because I believe that the first reaction of Putin when he received a message about Ukrainian drones heading towards whatever Russia, all right, whatever Russia, was like, So what? Like 50% of all Russian air defense is like right there outside the window. All right? Like I have 5 fucking Panzers installed on my rooftop. What kind of drones are you talking about? I don't give a shit. Yeah, but he called President Trump, and apparently he started crying. And Trump was very, very upset because of that. Putin said, they attacked my home, they destroyed my kitchen and my pooper. What should I do? I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything bad to those Ukrainians. Why are they so evil to me? Yeah, so today he mentioned that while talking to the representatives of press. Yeah, and he's been asked about this incident. All right.
I don't like it. It's not good. I heard about it this morning. You know who told me about it? President Putin told me about it.
Yeah, President Putin called him and started crying and nagging about evil Ukraine, striking his house. How can evil Ukraine attack the terror land? I literally have no idea how it's even possible, right? Like Russians didn't do anything wrong at all. Anything wrong. And of course I can see why Trump was so upset about that.
Early in the morning he said he was attacked. It's no good.
Early in the morning he was attacked on his crapper, all right.
It's no good. Don't forget, the Tomahawks. I stopped the Tomahawks. I didn't want that.
What does it mean and who gives a fuck about it? Everybody knows that you stopped the Tomahawks. It doesn't make you a better person.
Because we're talking about, it's a delicate period of time.
Everybody knows that I stopped a Tomahawk. How to tell people that you're a motherfucker without telling that you're a motherfucker? Well, basically, Donald Trump can give you a masterclass.
This is not the right time. It's one thing to be offensive, because they were offensive. It's another thing to attack his house.
One thing is being offensive, and another thing is attacking his house. Probably he literally thinks the way he talks, all right? He thinks that you can easily kill whatever people, because people don't matter. Lives, who gives a fuck about lives? Who gives a fuck about those tiny two-legged creatures who pay taxes so I can have like big car, I can upkeep that very, very expensive aircraft, all right? That is not a bribe, it's a friendly gift. Who gives a fuck about those two-legged, right? It's us, the fucking elite of this world. Us should not be attacked. Us should be prepared. We can go through fire and shit, and we are fucking invincible.
It's not the right time to do any of that.
It's not the right time to do that. On the other hand, it's always right time to send hundreds of Shahed drones bought in Iran and built according to the Irani blueprints. It's always a right time to kill Ukrainian people with those drones, with Russian missiles. It's fine, because Donald Trump never condemns Russian terrorists about that. He knows whom to support, right? He's always with his friends. And then...
Well, it came out, well, we'll find out. I mean, you're saying maybe the attack didn't take place. It's possible too, I guess. But President Putin told me this morning it did.
Yeah, they asked him about this, like, what if it didn't happen at all? All right? And he's like, yeah, we will find out. We will find out. If it happened, Ukrainians are bad. If it didn't happen, Ukrainians are bad. Always blame Ukraine, all right? So one thing that I also wanted to mention is actually, it's a good hint, all right, to the Ukrainian armed forces and Ukrainian security services. Actually, it's a good hint. Why not fucking hit the Russian terrorist nest itself? Of course, it will be very hard. Of course, because all those air defenses that were protecting Russian oil refineries, Russian military bases, military factories, they're there, all right, around Putin's palaces. And Putin has a lot of palaces, all right. But the best way to understand which palace is used exactly at this point is, of course, to see where the most of the air defense is concentrated, all right? So you will know for sure if there's like 50 Panzers, 20 Tors, and 2 companies of goons running around in the tree lines with manpads, like you can be sure 100%. So who knows, maybe we'll have a very fun and happy new year with some very, very interesting updates. I'm looking forward to see that, actually. So let me know what you think about this, because I would really like to know your opinion. And before we switch to another topic, let's have some coffee. I feel so sleepy for some reason, but on the other hand, it's kind of cool, all right? Because I feel relaxed, the life just passes by, scrolling like on the phone. And also I noticed, if you're sleepy, you have, like this very, very sexy voice. I think I should stream more when I don't sleep enough. So cheers. And it's still hot, by the way, surprisingly. So yesterday we talked about the Russian connections with Epstein. And today I will be, honestly, I will be trashing, maybe not the DOJ, but somebody a bit higher than DOJ. I will be honestly trashing them, because they deserve it, and I will explain you why. So check your blood sugar. It will be very hard to find blood in my sugar, all right? That's the problem. Because here, for example, I literally have like 4 spoons of sugar. That's the only reason why I'm still running, all right? So yesterday we talked about those Russian connections. There was a question, by the way, from one of the family members there in the chat about the Chechens involved in Charlie Hebdo shooting. I know that the terrorists that were identified, they were not Chechens, but there was a separate group, actually 2 separate groups. One group consisting of several Chechens, and one group consisting of one coordinator that were related to this shooting. So I was talking about the accused ones. Just a tiny notice, all right? And we also talked about Starsky looks fresh today. Thank you so much. So it means that yesterday I didn't look fresh. I'll keep that in mind. And yesterday we also talked about the Russian women that were involved in this Epstein's orbit, all right? We talked about those. And I mentioned one woman. She was there in the list. The reason I mentioned her was literally because I'm like, okay, I'm reading her case. I'm like, okay, let's fix this. Let's put her in the list. And later I will explain a bit more about her, because the woman I was talking about, Svetlana Pazhidava, she was, of course, involved in this Epstein's evil empire through, of course, modeling business, all right? And I am talking specifically about this one. We have an article, all right? Daily Forum Daily New York, whatever. What kind of title is that? Again, I don't know. So basically, this article is talking about a Russian woman from Moscow who went to Europe, became a model, went to Europe, and then traveled to New York, and yada yada. And the source of this is Voice of America, right? American resource, actually, that I believe we will not see, unfortunately, in the future because of the current administration. So, MGIMO graduate Lana Pozhedaeva successfully built career in Moscow, and her life was planned for 5 years in advance. Such a lucky person, all right? I don't plan anything like half an hour in advance. That is why I'm running out of milk so often. But it says that once she won the beauty contest and on a model visa, she moved to New York. How well everything turned out in a new place, the girl told the public, the newspaper Voice of America. Looking at this article, I believe that this stuff is a very, very rough translation from Russian language, which I can literally feel. I'm sure that you too. But Lana Pozhedaeva, that is exactly that lady who was involved into... So did Ukraine attack Putin's spank fridge? Professor Tim Wilson says not bloody likely. Absolutely not likely. Guys, let's talk about Lana Pozhedaeva just a bit later, but just to clarify, it didn't happen, all right? It only happened in the same parallel reality where Ukraine is Nazi and Russia is liberating Russian-speaking population of Ukraine. Like literally in that very parallel reality, the attack on Putin's palace happened. Because one more time, friends, Putin has so much air defense located around his house, so it's easier to fucking shoot his front door using RPG-7, but not a drone. So, returning to the topic, Lana Pozhedaeva. We talked about her yesterday. I explained that she was involved in Putin's... Yeah. I talked that she was involved in Epstein's evil empire as basically a kind of manager. She was responsible for his non-profit foundations and things like that. And let me see if there's her picture. No, there's not, because why the fuck post a picture of a person you are making an article about? Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, but this amazing article, of course, never mentions Epstein at all. Because again, why? But there is something very interesting. Moving to New York. After moving to New York, Lana quickly began to make money, right? According to her, rarely happens in the modeling business. As you probably understand, you can already imagine, like, right, where she got those money. But she actually wasn't a victim. And I think I should have dedicated a bit more time to this person in my yesterday's investigation. And most probably I will in the future because it will be updated, all right? We will have more research done on that. So Lana Pozhedaeva is a very interesting person. She's extremely interesting. So she finished MGIMO. MGIMO is Moscow State University for International Relations, all right? No, she wasn't 13 years old. It's different, all right? It's a different one. She finished university in Russia, and that's International Relations University. That is literally the place where FSB recruits like 50% of staff, all right? Because the graduates of that university, they're either international experts in terms of finances or language or interpreters or diplomats and things like that. So her story is very, very interesting because after graduating from her university, and she wasn't stupid. She was actually working as international finance expert. All of a sudden, she wins the beauty competition, right? Like pageant, you call it pageant or something. She wins that one. She wins a competition that was organized by the Russian magazine Maxim. All right, I had some contacts with the Ukrainian magazine Maxim, actually, back in my days when I worked in the communications agencies. And she wins that beauty contest. Immediately after that, she goes to Europe. She starts working in Europe somewhere, and we're talking about around 2010, all right, like early 2010s. So around that time, she met Epstein, and it's not really clear how exactly she met Epstein. But again, we are talking about the modeling business, we're talking about all that orbit, all right? We know that predators like Epstein, they were hunting, all right, in that area. That is like their hunting ground. So they got acquainted, and not only she got acquainted with Epstein, but also she got acquainted with Prince Andrew. And there is another interesting article by Daily Mail, why Russian model linked to sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein in his New York lair at the same time as Prince Andrew. So paparazzi actually caught her, all right, that's her, Svetlana Pожидаева, in Moscow. And by the way, I have a similar photo in the same place in Moscow in 2012. Seriously, I will show you sometime. It was cold and moist and sketchy. So that's actually her. And she was photographed leaving the Epstein's apartment in New York. Over there you can see Prince Andrew literally crying on the porch, saying, "Sayonara, see you later." It was so good. What did she do there in that place, all right? What was she busy with, all right, with Prince Andrew? I believe they were literally reading Shakespeare, for example. They were enjoying classical British writers, authors, poets, and they were discussing British literature. Maybe that was the reason. And Prince Andrew, as well as Epstein, by the way, most probably he simply enjoyed her beautiful Russian deep throat. I mean deep soul Russian, deep soul, beautiful. So maybe that was the reason. But eventually she got involved deeper into the Epstein's empire, and the paparazzi captured her. All right, they captured her leaving that. Oh my God. Leaving that apartment, and there she is. Of course, after that, she said that no, it wasn't me. That woman is not me. All right, She doesn't look like me. And Prince Andrew is over there in the doorway. But there was a problem, because not only her suitcase was photographed, but also the Aeroflot label attached to her suitcase, right? And if it's not Pazhidayeva, then I am not operator Starsky. So that is how she was identified, and of course, she became part of that investigation regarding the sex trafficking and everything else. Holy shit, how do I close this fucking face from my screen? So yesterday I mentioned Svetlana Pazhidayeva, and I kind of ironically laughed about her, and I said, like, doesn't really look like a Russian spy, right? Well, apparently she does. And I tried to find anything related to Pazhidayeva, related to her contacts, in the mail dump that was released. And by the way, if you feel like diving into this horrible shit, all right, then you can immediately go to jmail.world, all right. I will drop you the link right there into the chat so you can enjoy this shit. So this is a website that was built by absolutely legendary people. It contains emails. You can see all sort of like contacts. Noam Chomsky, right? How unexpected. It contains quite a few contacts, but not all of the contacts can be found there. And of course, there's some of them are redacted, but you can literally read them just like a Google Mail. All right, there's Cecilia Steen says, "My dear Jeffrey, I can't believe that you died." All right, and that one, Cody goes, "You're dead, lol." That one is cool. Yeah, and besides that, there's all sorts of photos. You can also check them out. There's a huge collection that looks like Google Photos, right? There's also Drive with all sorts of PDF files and flights. This one is very interesting, by the way, because you can actually track Epstein's movements, track the flight logs. Doesn't load for some reason. I have no idea why, but it will load on your in your browser, I guarantee. So the flight logs are very cool to analyze. Why? Because we know that Epstein had a private jet. Jet aircraft only fly IFR. And if you only fly IFR, it means that you have to fill in the flight plan every single time, all right? It's not like you can just jump in it and just fly wherever you like. But you gotta create a flight plan first, no matter where you're going, all right? That is why those flight logs are so important, and that is why we can track people that were on board of those aircrafts. I'm just explaining so you could understand, all right? Because when you're filling in the IFR flight plan, you gotta, of course, tell your destination, you gotta tell the number of people on board, and people who say, well, yeah, Trump was using Epstein's aircraft gazillion times, at least 8 times, all right, between 93 and 96, and it's not necessarily he was going to and from Epstein's island. Well, in the flight logs, everything is there, all right? So you can track that he was going exactly to and from his island on board of his airplane, because in the IFR flight plan, you have to define, all right, your destination and your departure location, and of course souls on board, passengers, cargo and all that stuff every single time. That's one of the disadvantages, one of the downsides of having a private jet, besides fuckload of money you will spend on upkeeping this aircraft and fuel and everything else. Literally, I don't know, Cessna 172 will cost you $100 per hour at max. All right, that stuff might cost you thousands of dollars, but they are wealthy guys, and we understand. So, returning to Lana Pazhadaeva, a woman from Russia, all right, graduate of Russian University of International Relations, model, who goes to Europe, all of a sudden gets involved with fucking Prince Andrew, Jeffrey Epstein, and who was behind her, you might ask. All right, what kind of forces, what kind of evil, shady creatures, evil, shady figures behind her? So when we talk about Russian involvement with Epstein, all right, we always imagine, because imagination is a powerful thing, we always imagine, like those shady orcs, all right, shady aliens somewhere hiding in the darkness. But reality is they all have names. All right, and the person that was behind her, and this is something that I'm trying to understand for myself, because we know exactly the person who helped Svetlana, all right? We know exactly who he was. And his name is Belyakov. Sergei Belyakov. That's a really, really cool article written by Dossier. Dossier is one of the most, I would say, trustworthy and one of the most professional news outlets, journalist investigations, them joining dots, collecting information on Russian FSB and basically all the Ozero gang that Putin was involved into. Those guys know everything about them. So they found an email dump, the email dump of correspondence between Sergei Belyakov and Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not sure if you read this one, all right? If not, it's absolutely necessary to read. I will also drop it there in the chat so you could understand, so you could check it out whenever you have free time. Yesterday we talked, we actually mentioned Güzel Ganieva. This woman was, according to Epstein, she was blackmailing some powerful businessmen in the United States, in New York. Even not a single businessman, but a group of businessmen, because like the way she blackmailed them, according to Epstein, the way he explains this to Sergei Belyakov, is that she stated that they took advantage of her and she threatened them to release this information. Now, who is Sergei Belyakov? Belyakov is or was a graduate of the FSB Academy, all right? And that is literally the place that prepares Russian intelligence officers. And not only that, we know that he served in the border guards, in the Russian border guards, but the Russian border guard service belongs to FSB, all right? Unlike, for example, Bundeswehr in Germany, that is a military force. In Russia, Russian Bundeswehr, that is FSB force. And I personally know several people who serve there. One of them is fighting in the Russian unit in Ukraine that fights against Russian invaders. My good friend Ilya Bogdanov. So he was a graduate of FSB Academy. And as soon as he graduated and then as soon as he served in the border guards, he immediately became fucking successful, of course, for obvious reasons. So his career skyrocketed, all right, he became a very, very famous Russian state employee. I believe that he finished as assistant or advisor or even like a deputy. Just a second, let me find this one. He enrolled in the academy in 1993 after completing 2 years of conscript service. Having graduated from the academy in 1998, he served a year in the FSB border guard and then embarked on a surprisingly meteoric career in the Russian establishment. According to his official biography, already in 2001, that is 3 years later, a 28-year-old with little experience other than serving in the army and the FSB, Belyakov became an advisor to the General Directorate of the Reforma International Foundation for Economic and Social Reforms. Since then, all of Belyakov's new roles have accentuated his proximity to the economic elites. So he served as an advisor to the Deputy Director General of Deripaska's basic element industrial group. You probably remember who Deripaska is. And then as an assistant to the president of the Russian Union of Industrialists and Entrepreneurs. In 2008, remember, there is around the time when Trump sold his mansion to the Russian oligarch close to Putin, right? So 10 years after graduating from the FSB Academy, Belyakov became an assistant to the Minister of Economic Development, Elvira Nabiulina, and she is now working as head of the Russian Central Bank, as far as I remember. So he was a very interesting person. Exactly after finishing FSB Academy, he skyrocketed and he became literally assistant to the minister. That tells a lot. And how was this young girl who became a model, won the model contest, and went to Europe and started immediately meeting all sorts of powerful people from United Kingdom, from United States, and then moved to the New York? How was she related to Belyakov? Okay, because already we know that she was responsible for some of the charity foundations, non-profit foundations of Epstein, and Belyakov helped Pazhidayeva obtain American visa by becoming her referral. So basically, he wrote a reference. And that reference was enough for the United States to grant visa to Svetlana Pazhidayeva. So then she moved to New York. She became extremely, extremely successful. And basically, you saw that article about her. And Naibulina, yeah, realist, yeah, absolutely. That was my first thought. Naibulina. Yeah. So she became extremely successful in the United States, and she was very, very close to Epstein. Epstein was in close communication with Svetlana Pazhidayeva, and he was also in close communication with Sergei Belyakov. So when Güzel Ganiyeva started threatening powerful American businessmen that she will release information on them, whether they took advantage of her or not, Epstein contacted Belyakov via email that you will not find. All right, you will not find it there in the dump. So they contacted each other, and Epstein asked his advice what to do, how to find leverage on Güzel Ganiyeva, because apparently some of those powerful New York businessmen, they were his close friends. The co-conspirators who never existed, all right? So Belyakov immediately, after just several days, after a while, he sends the dossier on Güzel Ganiyeva, literally FSB-style dossier, and he explains how to deal with her, how to involve immigration mechanisms to shut her up, all right? So that is how they were communicating. And again, if you read that article, you will find a lot of very interesting information about, for example, Epstein's view on Ukraine. Because even after the Russia's annexation of Crimea, because a lot of sanctions followed that annexation, we're talking sanctions against terrorussia. Despite that, he kept communicating with Belyakov, saying that Russia has a future, fuck Ukraine, and stuff like that. And they consulted each other all the time in terms of finances and things like that. So that's very interesting connection. And if you wanted some direct connection to FSB affiliated people, well, basically here you have it. But there is another thing that I wanted to talk about, and I will be trashing people that stand a bit higher than DOJ, all right? I'll be trashing them right now. Because I spent a lot of time, and you can do it yourself, maybe you'll be more successful than me. I spent a lot of time trying to find at least some kind of trace of Pozhedayeva, of Belyakov in the Epstein's emails. And I found zero, all right? And if I'm lucky, by the way, I hope that I'm lucky, I will be able to get more acquainted with their dump, all right, that dossier owns. Maybe, maybe not, we will see. But I found zero traces. How do you think why? I'll give you just a second and I will go get my vape. Just a second. Let me know in the comments why they posted zero emails of this correspondence between Epstein and Belyakov or Pozhedayeva, why there's no traces on them. Just a second. So first of all, as you may probably noticed, no, it's not because redacted. As you probably noticed, I am wearing pants because I am that very YouTuber who respects you so much. So I wear pants every single time I stream for you, my friends. And second reason is that it turns out, so when Svetlana Pozhedayeva was trying to get visa to the United States, and when Belyakov was asked by Epstein to provide the reference, provide a so-called reference letter for Svetlana Pozhedayeva, so American Immigration Service would read that and say, yeah, she's such a good person, all right. The documentation for Svetlana Pozhedayeva was prepared by a tiny person known as Indyk. All right? And you probably know where he works now, because Indyk, being a very own attorney of Epstein, today works as a very own attorney of American chief of the Department of War, all right, of Mr. Hexet. He works in the same company that represents Hexet's interests because, quoting MAGA, he has such a huge experience, all right. He was Epstein's attorney, and now he represents interests of Hexet. And apparently that is the reason why they redact Indike in all those emails, and why they most probably will never publish anything related to Belyakov and Svetlana Pazhidava, because the dude who prepared those documents, all right, to the people affiliated with FSB is now working in the company that represents interests of Hexet. So let me know what you think about this. Because all this is based on this article, and this article is quoted by different media outlets, of course I'm trying to find more, and because I'm trying to find more links and more connections between Epstein and Russian FSB and Russian elites, I will be digging more, and I will be very, very happy to eventually present you, like, literally the correspondence, all right? Because that is something that I would really like to see myself. And already yesterday there were several commentaries blaming me that instead of talking about, your stupid Ukrainian war, right, I'm talking about Epstein. What right do I have, to even think in that direction, to even look at the United States? But on the other hand, my friends, American people helped Ukraine a lot. American people helped Ukraine in terms of US aid, in terms of training our army, in terms of humanitarian aid. When Russia invaded the full-scale invasion, American people helped us with everything, all right? As little as, with just good motivating word. And that is why I feel privileged and honored to offer my help as well, absolutely voluntarily. Of course, I still expect a paycheck from George Soros, all right, since 2022. I keep hoping. If you have his number, please remind him about me, all right? So Mossad doesn't pay me at all because they say, dude, you have your own intelligence, let SBU pay you. And when I ask SBU, they say, dude, you didn't pass selection program. What the fuck? Get out of here. So I rely on George Soros, and I still expect. All right. I'm running out of vape. I would be happy for a paycheck. But yeah. So again, let me know. Mossad lawyers have been protected Epstein for years before. Yeah, it's a fact. I'm waiting on my Soros check too. You're not alone. Yeah, we gotta stick together. We gotta actually make, banners and go to the George Soros office and literally sleep under the entrance. That'd be cool. I know about that. Am I out of coffee beans? Guys, Simon is absolutely legendary person who sponsors me with coffee. My friend, I have coffee beans. I still have a bunch of those coffee pads. And I also went and bought myself this stuff that's instant coffee, because I just chew it, all right? I just take a spoon full of coffee and just munch on it. So everything's fine. Thank you so much, my friend. I still have it. Thank you, my friend. There's nothing to be proud of. Again, the reason I want to understand all that, not only because of my sheer respect to all the women, all the survivors of Epstein, and not because I'm triggered by this so much, but also because that's exactly what we gotta do. Good guys gotta stick together. We gotta help each other, like you guys helped us, and we'll be helping back. And this is the way it's supposed to be, right? It's always good when we are in the group and when we are united. Coffee with cream and spiced rum is nice. Yeah, I know, but I don't drink. I don't want to check. I'd rather have delicious Ukrainian dumplings. I think SBU can provide you with such a payment, my friend. We can definitely do that. We should set up an online betting who will replace Soros conspiracies in the future. Zelensky conspiracies, I guarantee. All right, Soros will become less popular, and conspiracies about SBU agent, all right, SBU spy, they will become more popular. You will see yourself. Like I can already see tendencies, and the SBU spy conspiracy becomes like more and more widespread. And previously it was CIA, but now it's kind of meh because Trump controls CIA. FBI is a different story, but CIA is more popular, let's be honest, in terms of mainstream culture. They make caffeine-infused chocolate here. My friend, check out Combat Veteran Reacts. He manufactures, he makes chewing gum with caffeine, and that is something I would literally buy. But I'm too lazy, but I would. How beautiful is that? Chewing gum with caffeine, and you don't have to drink like 5 liters to stay awake. Should do a guitar battle. I gotta confess, I suck at playing so much. I play drum because it's not complicated. You just have 2 hands and you just drum. That's it. Guitar is a different thing. I cannot play well. I can only play some easy riffs, and I suck at playing guitar very, very much. We have caffeinated hamsters to eat here in Cardiff. Guys, instead of eating them, use them to produce electricity. You just put them in the wheel, plug it in, and basically you have electricity, because otherwise you have to, warm up your food on a radiator, do prostitution. Use that to produce electricity and actually sell it abroad and make Cardiff great again. Because Russians are celebrating that you suffer so much without their gas. So I cannot even imagine, the depth of suffering. The stuff was obvious back when Trump was trying to hijack the missiles by holding back 300 million. Remember that Trump doing that kind of crap, he's doing that the United States. So when he talked about tomahawks, that was literally like a confession, all right? I stopped tomahawks because I wanted to stop the killing. He was the dude who actually offered those tomahawks, as far as I remember. I stopped the tomahawks because I want to save Russia so much. The hamsters taste so good. I get my prostitutes to generate electricity. And that's a proper thing, like keep your prostitutes in good shape, like on this bike, rolling. That's what I would do. One of my Ellie remembers that. One of my viewers there in the commentaries said that I kept her in the basement for all sorts of dirty pleasures. That was one of them. She was producing electricity and charging my power station when we had no electricity in Kiev and in Hostomel during the strikes. So that's what she did. Tomahawks are old now. They kinda are. But on the other hand, Tomahawks keep being updated, all right? New models are being installed and stuff. So I'm suffering so much without Russia's gas because my city started reimbursing parts of the cost of installing solar panels and heat pumps, better sealed windows, and e-bikes, e-cars. So much suffering, absolutely. I have no idea what we'll be doing without the Russian gas. We just have to I don't know, sit down and pray and cry. Mia Demon, yeah. Said you kept her in the basement as a sex slave. Wished she at least left her phone number, seriously. But now I'm sure that not a lot of viewers know about that. Now that I have this special access, to sex tunnels. I know where they are located. I thought maybe Russia conscripted them into fertilizer, not like they would pay for a return flight. I would think, yeah, absolutely. You could play the horn. I would prefer like porn, but I'm too old, and my OnlyFans is not that popular. That is why I have OnlyFacts. Ukraine is making Flamingo missiles. Yeah. Soon we won't need Tomahawks, but there's a lot of controversies regarding those flamingos. I tell you that. I didn't study that side much, but I will. You need magnets and copper wire to make generators, so your hamsters can generate electricity, but you guys have the raw materials for the magnets. Yeah. We have all sorts of stuff. Okay. Sex tunnel. Sign me up. Yeah. Yeah, currently there's only 2 members in that sex tunnel. That's me and Yemelian. Yemelian observes, all right, hanging on the wall. And basically, he doesn't need more. He doesn't have a body. Unfortunately, hedgehog crisps are now banned in the United Kingdom. Yeah. On the other hand, it's so cool because you have like a lot of spikes that you can use as toothpicks. You're using your longer ATACMS now. From what I can tell, we were using not ATACMS, we were using Storm Shadow missiles, those that we still have. ATACMS, I can't tell. I think that we mostly use ATACMS on rather operating level, all right, operational level, rather than in terms of long-range strikes. Are there two-way mirrors in the sex tunnels? Yeah, absolutely. Every mirror is a two-way. I asked Grok what I should do, and it said only... Really? I start respecting Grok more and more, because one time I asked him about Elon Musk's involvement into spreading Russian bullshit, and Grok confirmed that, yeah, it is a known fact that Elon Musk reposts a lot of things that can be easily fact-checked, and majority of them are also shared by the Russian bot farms and basically produced in that environment. And also I asked Grok, is it true that Twitter became one of the biggest platforms of spreading Russian disinformation? And he also confirmed. It was back then when I had a Twitter account, before they started throttling the pro-Ukrainian content makers. So I think UK is sending Ukraine the new break stop cruise missiles on. We will see. I would absolutely love to see that. Tomahawk is like suka alien unknown блядь, technology to долбоёб recidivist of the terrorist empire. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. Довбоёб, that is my favorite word to generally describe Russian fox. Musk has developmental disability, and it's a horror that he's taken seriously, especially after all those funny pictures of Elon Musk at Epstein's parties. I would definitely not take him seriously at all. Once in a while, it's important to remember that some people are in a much more distressed state than I am even able to imagine. That is why we are here, my friends. That is why we keep motivating each other. How evil do you have to be when the AI you own and keep editing to side with you instead keeps learning to hate you? Absolutely. Absolutely. I cannot imagine that. You created this large language model, you trained it yourself, and there you go. How cringy is that? I have no idea. But on the other hand, we can see that it's hard to deceive things like artificial intelligence, and unfortunately it turns out that it's harder to deceive artificial intelligence than human beings, all right, than taxpayers. On the other hand, deceiving taxpayers, that is literally what politicians are trained to do, all right? That is their profession. How gross was Trump's meeting today? I was totally floored. Yeah, I can tell. Today and yesterday. But his meetings are generally gross. And one thing I also wanted to check, again, just for myself, returning to the Epstein's investigation, because the myth that I hear all the time, for example, from people who support Donald Trump and all that stuff, the myth that I hear all the time is that they only met once with Epstein, all right? Trump says himself that he's never been to that island and blah, blah, blah. So they only met once with Epstein. Once. Just once. And then, after Trump learned how bad Epstein was, he just banned him completely, all right? Cancelled him everywhere. So you can actually do that yourself, because I will definitely do it. But I want to research how many times approximately, based on the evidence that we have, how many times approximately they actually met, all right? Because Epstein, for example, and we know why. He had that reason for obvious reasons, because he wanted to manipulate people, he wanted to show that he has access. But according to Epstein, he was very close friend of Trump for 10 years. And when Epstein died or was disallowed, basically Trump said, poor Ghislaine, I wish her well and stuff. Her boyfriend died, such a bad thing. I'm not making this up. I mean, in the next video we will watch and discuss this, all right? So, hey Brigade, are you going away? Are you leaving us? Yeah, I have to leave. Friends, let's wish Brigitte the great evening. Actually, I can understand because it's like 10:30. Auf Wiedersehen. Have a great evening and sleep well. Don't forget to eat something good, all right? Epstein boasted about flying to Moscow to visit Putin also in 2019, and ex-Florida Cap escaped to Russia with Epstein sex tapes. I would not be surprised. Again, we need, let's say, documented evidence. That is something that I prefer. But I would not be surprised that the place he ran to would be Russia, all right, if it happened, because that's just perfect. I mean, and the reason why he wanted to get in touch with higher diplomatic echelons of terrorist federation and supporting them in their invasion of Ukraine and all that stuff, I can see that that might be actually the case. I don't envy Donald Trump, seriously, because if it's true, you can just imagine him sweating so much on every during every negotiation with President Zelensky, because he's like, fuck, if I adopt this stuff, all right, who knows, maybe the next information dump from the DOJ will also include some videos, that I don't really want to see. When you have a large language model, when you understand it with an AI, does the model change? What do you mean? The model remains the same. I don't think that it can train and evolve unless you introduce some additional modules for it. But if you want to improve the model or degrade the model, you just train it over and over again. So you just make new versions of it. Ex-cop's name is John Mark Dugan. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you for the hint. All right, I will check it out. Is abortion legal in Ukraine? Yeah, it is. A poll in the chat. What sort of memorial statue should be erected for the victims in Cardiff? Holy. Like a big statue, it shouldn't be like a human-sized statue, but it should be like very, very big, tall statue of a prostitute feeding a hamster with her tits, all right? Like, how do you call it? Nursing a big fat hamster. And that can be installed. I would make a 3D version, in the style of late Renaissance, something like that. A lady, I mean, on the pictures from the French Revolution, with that'd be cool. Please note that the whole war thing was created by Biden, and while his clone, he was killed in 2021. The clones were all that was left, the underground tunnels and sex trafficking. 100%. I agree with everything. Generally, AI models have a specific training mode to update the model. You have to use the training mode and label the input with what it is. You might be right, because from what I know, you just train another one, right? So if you want to improve it, you just train another one. But you can also attach different modules. So for example, if you want this model to remember you, all right, you can build or code all sorts of different modules for this model. So it would refer to the indexed information and snatch the necessary memories about you, for example, or things like that. When you talk to the model and the model learns from you, storing that information in separate databases. This is how it works. Another mental image, I'm not sure if I want in my memory. Now I really want to make that statue, actually. I will probably make a patch or something. That'd be cool. I gotta actually offer that to Mirko. Mirko will do that. Yo, Caitlin, how are you? Caitlin, someone was laughing at me because I cannot read your name properly. I think it was Ellie. Maybe not. It is not model learning, it's just personalization, doesn't affect other users. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But maybe if you want to educate your model, maybe you can create a specific database that stores information delivered to this model by other people, all right? That is a lot of work, but generally it's possible, I think. So you don't have to retrain this model over and over again. But on the other hand, why not? It's much easier and much more convenient to just retrain the model and just use it. Recruit Roman. We will have Roman on the stream very, very soon. I promise you that. Yo, so good that everything's fine. What else? AI speed camera here seems to be doing a lot of smoking. AI speed camera, yeah. the bulk of public-facing AI specifically doesn't train on users' data because hackers. That sounds absolutely reasonable, all right? Because hackers can utilize it, exploit it this way. So actually, yeah, you're right. And that is basically the reason why you can either personalize it, all right, or you can just retrain it again and again. Because literally, if models were open for learning from anybody, 100% a bunch of guys would use another AI that would generate all sorts of stuff for this AI to learn. And that would be a disaster. For the soldier knows he does not fight for victory, he fights from victory. That is when I need more English skills. The humor is bad, but then the things that other people have seen are pretty harsh. I agree on that. Are you still planning to invite Dick Dawson to one of your streams? It's been a long time. Yeah, absolutely. We gotta do it sometime. I really miss the shells. We gotta do it sometime. We gotta get in touch. Because for some reason, it's like either I'm lacking time or something doesn't work, but we gotta do it, absolutely. Please send off Ellie for some sleep. But it's like early in the United States. I mean, not that late, right? Cardiff is the capital of Wales. I didn't know that. Because I'm stupid, all right? Like, I know United Kingdom, I know roughly, like Wales, like Scotland, Northern Ireland, London, all that jazz. But I know that Island of Man or something in the Irish Sea. So I know those things. But first time I heard about Cardiff, and it was some documentary about the football hooligans, and I was like 20. So I didn't know much about the United Kingdom at all. And I'm like, Cardiff, where is it? But Cardiff is the most party town, I swear. I know. Still 3 hours till darkness in Idaho. I've seen so many cool videos of guys flying over Idaho. Because, I'm an aviation fan, and for some reason Idaho is so popular, especially among bush flyers. I don't know why. Do Ukraine special go around the bars at New Year's? Got a couple of people do some live stream. I cannot tell. I will most probably do live stream 100%, and most probably I will also connect some of our friends, because I will not be celebrating New Year's Eve alone. But despite that, I will be able to make a stream. Hello, my friend. Hello to beautiful Stockholm. I miss Stockholm already. It's been a while. It's been more than a year, actually. Odd how all of Epstein's lawyers have been hired by Trump to work for his regime. Yeah, but the explanation was legit, right? They said Indyke has such an invaluable experience, all right? He's such an experienced man. If you keep oligarchy like this, I'm surprised people think Epstein is the only pimp that the elite have to... Yeah, I agree. He wasn't the only one, 100%. The reason we know about him is that he was not only a pimp. He was much more sinister, all right? The dude had a lot of ambitions, and from what I can tell, he was actually a psychopath. 100%. The way he behaves, for example, during interrogation, and generally based on all the shit he did, he really was. How can we heal the extremist Christian virus against brown people while simultaneously combating Islamic lunatics in our fragile political discourse, while spending more on defense? That's a big challenge, my friend. I can tell you only one thing. If we didn't have Russia, all right, that produces a lot of bullshit that makes people on the left spectrum in the United States fight against people on the right spectrum, not only in the United States, all right? And at the same time, both spectrums criticize the defense expenditures. So if we didn't have Russia that produces the fuel every single day, that would be so much easier. Trust me. One thing that actually works is when Ukraine hits Russian oil refineries, because the less money they have to spend on the informational warfare, the better. Okay, it's absolutely obvious. And actually, Ukrainian strikes on Russian oil refineries and generally Russian oil and gas infrastructure, they benefit us very, very much more than we can imagine in terms of the countering Russian bullshit. As soon as the money stops flowing, they will stop producing that bullshit immediately. Food time talks. What is typical New Year snack in Ukraine? Olivier. But recently I'm not sure about Olivier, because a lot of people consider Olivier some kind of post-Soviet puke. Me included, I consider it a post-Soviet puke. So Shuba maybe not. Red caviar, like those tiny sandwiches with butter and red caviar. I freaking love it so much. Johnny FD hates it. I bought him like a bunch of caviar, very, very nice caviar for his birthday. He was like, man, it's so fishy. So mostly it's something usual, to fill the emptiness in your stomach, like potato, mashed potato, boiled potato. I would like to celebrate New Year with sushi, probably. That's probably something that I would do. I see it happening. Few people in the US taking control of all the country's resources and collective identity and wealth, just like in Russia it happened, yeah. Because the people who do that, they have very, very good teachers in the terrorist federation. Ghislaine, you're talking about the Ghislaine? If you're talking about her, there is a really good criminal psychologist and psychiatrist on YouTube. Dr. I forgot, all right. But he's very good. He analyzes all sorts of criminals. He analyzes all sorts of crime scenes, the Kirkmer assassination, then Epstein and everything else. He's very, very good and very experienced. And he actually explained this relation between Epstein and Ghislaine. He said, please let me know if you're watching him as well. He said that, first of all, Epstein was an obvious psychopath. And the way he abused the girls was because he had fantasies that he couldn't have in the real life, right? He was imagining. Basically, like majority of psychopaths do, they have those sick fantasies that they cannot realize, all right, in the real life. And he needed his victims to, for example, love him, admire him, and that is why he made those girls write him like postcards and all that sick fuckery. So Ghislaine understood his nature, and that is why she would explain the victims, the girls, that the way they should, behave around Epstein, write him stuff, and she could understand what he needed. So she was basically like, I would say, mother to Epstein. So she was a manipulator of a manipulator, all right? She was giving him what he wanted. Isle of Man, oh my God. Hello, my friends. Yeah, we just talked about it. Isle of Man, I was right. Yeah, so good to see you here. We have such unexpected visitors there in the chat. Oh my God, I'm so happy. Psychopaths have no conscious or sense of consequence or sense of consequence. So, like, sociopaths mainly don't have understanding of consequences, right? Because they are more impulsive. So when they take decisions, they take them right now, right? Like on the go. Psychopaths are more manipulative, right? They are predators, actually. They are predators, and they manipulate people this way. But it's true. They don't have, for example, empathy. Like, they lack it completely. They just don't have it. And whenever they pretend they have it, that's literally Dr. G. Yes, that one. I forgot such a complicated name. All right, Dr. G. That one. Extremely advised, all right, to subscribe to his channel, because his content is very, very good, and he explains a lot in terms of Epstein's behavior, in terms of the assassination, all right, because let's not be naive, and let's just accept the facts, all right, that we have at hand. Speaking of what happened to him in the prison. Okay, I see that people are chatting with each other. The issue is in the US is people are taught to go to school and get jobs to make money, but aren't taught to invest even small amounts and take advantage of time for it to grow. Consumerism instead. I agree on that, but it's not only typical for the United States. In the United States, we know about this because there's a lot of people who turned this into a mainstream, all right? And that is why we can hear a lot about it. But it's like that in many, many other countries. In Ukraine, we also have a lot of consumerism, but European countries, Germany, I would say people also have it, but in Germany, because they're German, all right, that is the way it's supposed to be. All right, like that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to learn, get a job, and just like relax, all right, and have pension and everything, and life. That's the way the life should be lived, all right. Go hiking, ride bicycle, all right, jog. Okay, instead of going to the bar somewhere, take your friends, go hiking or jog together. And that is just so beautiful. I enjoy observing German people and learning about them so much. So much. That's something I would never expect from people living in the downtown of Europe, all right, in the heart of Europe. Because generally, heart of Europe is boring, right? That's like a big stereotype. But when you start learning them closer, you discover a lot of such cute, adorable, and unexpected things. That's just amazing. And the way, for example, Ukrainians and Germans are very similar on the outside, all right? Because on the outside, we all look like this. And then, for example, somewhere on the street, somebody steps on your foot accidentally, like walking like this. And either you or that person steps on your foot, for example, and they go like, "Oh, Entschuldigung," and you go, "Oh, that's good," and then good, and keeps walking. That is something that makes me just so feel like home. That is just something so adorable about German people. People in Sweden are also really cool because when you talk to people that, again, are absolutely adorable, they are friendly, they meet you with wide smile, and they are just so yours, like your guys. And when you talk to them and you imagine them, like, for example, 1,000 years ago, on the ships heading somewhere southwards, all right. Yeah, that's also really, really cool. Or, for example, together with Ukrainians, like planning plots against the Russian Empire. That's also something really cool. I don't look like Starsky. Well, apparently it's because you're not bald, and maybe you don't have beard either. Yeah, but... And if you ordinary Americans think that the rest of the world is made up of naive fools who don't see what your president is doing, that he is defending the aggressor rather than the victim, you. A lot of them understand that. A lot. Looking at... I'm not really acquainted with the latest ratings, but as far as I can tell, and judging from the data that you can obtain everywhere, all right, on the internet nowadays. We have ChatGPT, let's refer to ChatGPT, because when we need wisdom, we always gotta ask ChatGPT.
Hey there, great to have you here.
Hello, ChatGPT, wise creature from the depth of my smartphone. So we are having a tiny family time here, on YouTube, streaming, and we were wondering what is the latest rating of support, of not support of President Donald Trump or his policy in the United States. Can you please check out the most recent data, preferably as of December or late December this year, 2025?
Sure, so as of right around the end of December 2025, it looks like President Trump's approval ratings have taken quite a dip. Early in the year, he was actually in positive territory, but now he's down to about 36 to 41% approval, depending on the poll you look at. It's mostly because a lot of independent voters have become less supportive, and there's been a lot of concern over issues like the economy and immigration. So in short, his ratings have definitely gone down by late 2025.
Are those sources trustworthy?
Absolutely. The numbers I pulled are from a mix of reputable polling sources. You know, the usual suspects like Gallup or Pew or other established pollsters who track these things. Of course, no poll is perfect, but these are generally considered pretty reliable snapshots of public opinion.
Okay, thank you very much for your information, glorious ChatGPT. You know, we always rely on reliable sources like you, my friend. Have a great evening and glory to Ukraine.
Well, you're very welcome. I'm glad I could help out with your little family YouTube time. And hey, you have a great evening too. Take care.
So that's basically the answer. Like, I don't want to be, somebody who creates like fake news. Polls are collapsing, and stuff. But generally, the recent data is right there. Yeah, taking a slight dip. Way to go having the AI verify the data. Some people don't know about AI latest release programming, how the AI might not know that the date is much later. Yeah, that is exactly why you gotta input proper prompts, all right? Sometimes you tell him like, what can you tell about the President Donald Trump? And he goes like, Donald Trump, who is a 45th president of the United States. You gotta write or input proper prompts, okay, based on the date, okay. I know because I was fucked up by ChatGPT many times. That is why I know that you gotta always input proper prompts. It's very important. Not only with ChatGPT, with all other models as well. But generally, it's very good to use ChatGPT instead of literally just Googling, okay? Because Chat can collect the data and basically provide you with everything necessary. But you gotta always check whatever he says. Always, because they're not always trustworthy, all right? Most LLM's data repositories cut off mid-2023. Yeah, exactly. That's the reason. I've seen that some people are using AI to check people's code by putting bad code with backdoors online, then coders who use AI. Yeah, that can be a threat as well. I didn't say Slava Ukraine. It is, yeah. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. Remember one time, I think it was during the live stream. He's like, glory to Ukraine. The last time AI tries to convict me that Biden is still the POTUS. In most cases, I'm not sure which AI you're using, but in most cases, this one tells me that he's the ex-president of the United States. Coders who use AI often don't check the code, and AI gets it by scraping the internet. So putting bad code means it gives bad code. Yeah. But in most cases, the code they provide you with is generally okay. I built a website. I think I told you about that one. I built a website just for myself. All right. Using literally the code provided by ChatGPT, and it worked. It surprisingly worked so well. But again, the proper prompt, that is the main thing. If ChatGPT doesn't provide you with proper result, 99% that the problem is bad prompt. Yeah, if you know something, but ChatGPT thinks otherwise, yeah. ChatGPT, unless you tell the AI to specifically search the data online and provide the time frame, specific time frame, it's very, very important, not like just latest, all right? Because if you ask the ChatGPT to provide you with the latest data, he will tell you about something that took place in like 2022 or 2023 easily. Happened to me many, many times. Looked up European alternatives to ChatGPT, LetChat and Lumo. Gemini is also good, as far as I can tell. User error, yeah. Invalid user. You know this joke when Ukrainian IT specialist got mobilized into the army, and he passed training. He's there at the position at night with the AK, and suddenly he notices some kind of noise, all right, snow cracking, steps on the snow. He turns towards the sound, opens fire, and says, no, doesn't work like that. User anonymous, access denied. I corrected it and it was like, oh yeah, that's right, sorry for my error. I hate when he says that. I hate this stuff so much. Because it happens all the freaking time. I had to almost reinstall my system because of that. Because I'm like, okay, I need to free up resources and I'm not sure if I should delete this stuff. He's like, yeah, sure, just freaking shift delete, all right? So I deleted a bunch of directories, a bunch of folders on my computer, and my computer almost died. So I had to revive it. And I'm saying, dude, why did you do that? Why did you tell me to delete those folders? He's like, my bad. And you cannot do anything to this motherfucker. You cannot punish him. I would tell him to do like 50 push-ups, but he doesn't have arms. And he does it all the time. Again, you gotta be very, very careful with what ChatGPT tells you to do in terms of like deleting something, all right? Always make backups, because if you delete something or change something and it stops working, then this master troll called ChatGPT, he will just be like, my bad, you're like, you destroyed 5 years of my work. He's like, you have right to be upset. I admit I was wrong. You have right to be upset. And this just makes me so mad all the time. Gemini is made by Google, which is property of Alphabet Incorporated, based in California. We need to start demanding more European tech. I agree. Actually, it's a good idea. Yeah, I would check out some nice AI, European-made AI as well. But model itself doesn't matter much, okay? If you have enough space, you can just download ChatGPT and even use it locally. Because ChatGPT is based in the United States physically, because there's like this big PC farm, all right? The electronic brain is there, but model itself is just a big file, all right? So the problem is that it's based there, but it can be based anywhere, okay? If you have enough resources, you can run it. EU, yay! Mega! Make Europe great again. A nice sweet rice dessert. Friends, tell me this. Do you like milk with rice? Because when I was a kid, my mom used to cook like milk with rice, or for example, pasta with milk, you know. It's like soup, like milk soup, only either with rice or like pasta. And I cannot even look at it when I grew up. Since I grew up, I cannot even look at it because like I hate this. I hate this stuff. Mom, please, I'm sorry. I know that we had no other choice. Yeah, I'm just telling about my food preference. I gotta talk about this because Mom is watching. And tell me if you like it or hate it. I love proper rice pudding. Yeah, rice pudding is not bad. Rice pudding is actually very good. If it's properly prepared. And also in Ukraine we have zapikanka, for example. Zapikanka is a kind of pastry with rice. It's basically like a mix of cheesecake and rice, you know. So, hello, Mom. Mom, hello from our dear family here in the chat. So, rice stew. Rice stew is good. I like that one. But milk rice is like sushi rice with cinnamon. Yeah, something like that. Still like it. I will never eat it, seriously. Even if I have a choice, I would never even try. I feel the same about kidney beans in soup or adding... I feel the same about kidney beans in borscht, for example. People love it. For some reason, I cannot stand them when you have them in the borscht. It's just... It's not my type of borscht. Hello, Starsky's mom. Oh my god. She will be so happy to see this. The Chinese rice porridge is awesome. Yeah. Chinese rice is generally awesome. If you like rice and milk, you might like horchata. It's a delightful drink of grain, milk, cinnamon, usually made with rice. A drink with rice, right? That's something so unusual. Wait, let me see. I want to check it out. So, we have... yeah, Mexican horchata. That's interesting. A rice drink. I never knew it even exists. Seriously. Yeah, that's an interesting stuff. I gotta check it out sometime. Coconut milk rice. Coconut milk rice. Not bad, I believe. But it's gotta be mixed with a lot of sugar, because I have this stereotype, for example, after having a lot of like bounty bars, you know, I have this stereotype that coconut is actually sweet, which is false. It's not. Naturally, it's not. But in my imagination, the smell of coconut is associated with, like, you know, the sweet taste and stuff. And easy to make at home. I will check it out. I will let you know, all right? I will save the name of this stuff and I will try. Because generally I have everything needed. I have cinnamon, I have milk, I have rice, so I can actually prepare it. Guys, do you want to have some kind of stream dedicated to, like, cooking? Because I think I can do it, if you like, all right? Maybe on the new year, maybe after the new year. Russian asset in White House, but let's talk about food. Absolutely. It's important. It's as important as talking about the Russian assets. Because food is something that, you know, Russian assets will disappear as fast as they emerged. They will disappear. Russian assets are temporary. The food will never end. It will always be there, all right? The food is like Egyptian pyramids. Compared to Egyptian pyramids, our lives are just a tiny while, a breath, all right? Same with the food. Russian assets will disappear like dew on the sun, but the food will always be there. It will always be United Nations across the world, like us here in the chat, and we will be always enjoying the company, sitting around, you know, this virtual bonfire and, you know, roasting marshmallows. So you do like to eat. I'm a bit hungry, frankly speaking, which is kind of strange because I had a really good dinner, but you know what they say, my stomach is full, but I'm eating with my eyes. I'm eating with my imagination right now. I made a batch of gnocchi today. Ah, those tiny things. Yeah, I saw them in the store. They look good. I agree. Yeah, but of course sauce matters a lot. Sauce matters. Would Poroshenko have stayed or fled February 24th if he was a president? You gotta think like Poroshenko to answer this one. Hard to tell. Will you be cooking live or just talking? If you wish, I will cook live. All right. I will perform whatever you say, my friends. Except dancing, all right? Because I'm not a good dancer, but everything else I can do. I've eaten too much since Christmas. Lucky you, because I was celebrating alone and I didn't cook much because, like, I'm alone. I have 2 portions of food a day and I'm feeling fine, 2 big ones. And like 10 cups of coffee, and that is something that keeps me running. But that's really cool. In our tradition, for example, when you have, and I'm sure that you have the same, when you have something like Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's Eve, then you cook like an F-load of stuff, and then you keep eating it over the next like week or like 5-6 days. So that's something that we have in our tradition as well in Ukraine. Especially if you live in a family with like mama, or with grandma, or you visit mama or grandma, and they just cook 2 days straight, and then you just munch on what is left, all the leftovers, for the next week. What about a song? I didn't practice so long, so I will be ashamed. But maybe sometime, all right? Maybe sometime in the future. Food is Ukrainian thing. Father always made sure everyone had food, a throwback to when Dyadko Stalin starved everyone out. Absolutely. I would even say not Dyadko, but Didko. Absolutely. And all Ukrainians have that, actually. We all have very special relation with food, very special perception of food. I liked Lyon in winter. Wait a minute, Lyon in winter. You're talking about a movie, because I thought like the Lyon, the city in France. Family chat to all the Newman family, a very happy new year. Yeah, I agree on that, and I will join your wish. All the most beautiful wishes to Newman, and generally to all our moderators, Katya, Ellie, and all the beautiful people there in the chat. My Baba would always give us Granny Smith apples. She always had them. Nice. Yeah. My grandmother never learned to cook because they had servants. Seriously, she was a horrible cook. They had servants. That's so cool. But frankly speaking, cooking is not that hard. All right, you can cook all sorts of stuff that doesn't require you a lot of effort if you want to literally survive. All right. People say the feather is stronger than the sword. Maybe that is correct. Yeah, it kind of is. Like if you know where to tickle, all right? If you know where to tickle. Apples are food of the gods. Yeah. My ex loved apples And thinking about it, like she was a shorty, and Putin is a shorty. Maybe it's related, you know. Maybe it's like connected somehow. My mother made something we called mommy soup. Yeah, I think it was her special dish. Leon is the name of the zombie slayer. I see now, yeah. Have you tried an air fryer yet? Yeah, I did. I bought one probably early this year, like in February maybe, or January. We bought an air fryer. It's like a speedy cooker. So you can boil, you can fry, you can do whatever. And you can also cook things using the air fryer. It has several modes and it saves a lot of time. All right. So that's probably the best buy of 2025. Because 10 minutes you have bratwurst mit pommes and you can just enjoy. But besides that, I also had a pressure cooker back in Kyiv. That one was without air fryer, but I cooked everything easily, like 5 kilograms of rice, just drop it and forget about it. And it was really good one. It's something we should always have, something we should always keep on the kitchen. Recently discovered a YouTube channel, former Ukrainian tour guide from Chernobyl, name of Sergei Uzlov. He deserves more subs. Yeah. I think I know this dude. I think we intersected somewhere on the internet. Why are these evil people always so tiny, like Hitler and Stalin and Putin? Yeah, probably it's like Chihuahua complex, and Putin is something like 150 something, or Medvedev again, another example. My ex, all right. Plus again, myself, I'm not a big guy. I'm like 5'7" something, 5'7", 5'7". I'm not a big dude, all right. So I can tell those tiny like shorties, you know, they're evil. Like look at Chihuahua. Chihuahua, it's microscopic, but it trembles, you know, from all the evil radiating from this tiny little creature. And you know, just imagine the world burning. All right. So yeah, probably that's the answer. I love to hear you speak Deutsch. Danke sehr. Deutsch ist sehr schön. Aber ich muss mehr lernen, alright? Because like I have neighbors, but my neighbors don't speak English well, so I cannot have a lot of practice with them. So yeah, I need to find somebody who will be suffering, all right, from practicing with me. I call my angry short friends spider monkeys. Looking at Putin and Medvedev, by the way, and Medvedev is shorter than Putin. Okay, it was made like that on purpose. Medvedev is like 1 centimeter shorter than Putin. He's even tinier, and apparently the biggest reason they are so evil is because being evil makes them feel better, more powerful, bigger in their imagination. You know, especially when Medvedev is like screaming there on the internet, promising to kill everyone with nuclear weapons. You can literally imagine, you know, him like inflating right there on the other side of the screen, you know, while posting that. I don't know if it's true, but he told us he's 175 centimeter. Putin said that he's 175 centimeter. I'm 175 centimeter. And Putin, from what I remember, he's like this, okay? He's something, yeah, like Napoleon complex. He's like 161. I'm not 5'6". I must be like 5'7" then, probably. Okay, 70. All right. Let's ask somebody who knows. Dear ChatGPT, how much is this 175 centimeters in feet and inches?
Absolutely, we can do that. So 175 centimeters is basically about 5 feet 9 inches, give or take just a tiny fraction. So if you think of 175, you can just think, oh yeah, that's around 5'9".
I am giant. I'm almost 5 feet 9. I am giant. Oh my god, that's so cool to know. The average height in Russia is around 178. Yeah. The average is like between 173 to 178. So I'm 172 late in the evening. You know, when I'm hunched under all the weight, you know, of all the events on my shoulders. Yeah, then I'm like 172. In the morning I can be like 175 easily. You gained an inch right now. Yeah, thanks to ChatGPT. All right. Maybe tomorrow I will gain like several more. Yeah. Wish it was not just about the height, you know. So I love dwarves. They're kinder than short people. Ask about Butler's height. Yeah, why not? I mean, we can use this opportunity, right?
Hey there, happy to have you here.
My God, happy to have you here too, bro. Can you tell us what is the height of Putin, reliably, minus high heels that he is wearing all the time? And also tell us what is the reliable height of Medvedev, Dmitry Medvedev, in terms of centimeters and feet and inches.
Well, I'm glad to be your bro for these measurements. So, as far as public info goes, Vladimir Putin is generally listed around 170 centimeters, which is about 5'7" or so. And Dmitry Medvedev is often listed just a tad shorter, maybe around 166 centimeters, which would be close to about 5'5.5". Obviously, these are just the official numbers, so we'll take them with a friendly grain of salt.
Thank you so much. Slava Ukraini.
You're very welcome. And hey, take care and enjoy the rest of your time.
So there you go. So yeah, it turns out Putin is something like 170, but again, whoever measured him, all right? where does this number come from? The number comes from most obviously some sort of Russian media, and we know that Putin always wears high heels. That is why he might be 170 on paper, all right, or like on the photo, but in real life he might be like 155. And I think that Medvedev is the same stuff, the same situation, because I believe that they're ordering high heels in the same store. So but some very clever people checked it, and it's more like 162. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so today we are talking about something very interesting. Why the relation between evilness and the heights, and we can see that they correlate. That there is a connection actually. Comparing, for example, Putin and Chihuahua, we can see that there's definitely a connection. I met you both in Cologne, and there is a difference. Really? Who would want to measure Putin anyway? Yeah. I would measure Putin using RPG-7, definitely. That would be like something really cool. Imagine being the casket measure for Putin. Oh, now I know what I will think about, before going to bed. Instead of counting sharks, I will be imagining this stuff. A typical Ukrainian joke, all right? Typical Ukrainian joke. And we have right to joke like that because we're Ukrainian. So, two Ukrainian dudes are talking, and two Ukrainian uncles, two Ukrainian men, all right, two Ukrainian villagers are talking, and one villager says, hey cousin, I've had such a weird dream. He's like, what was the dream? He's like, it's like I'm sitting on the bank of a river and I can see plenty of coffins, just floating downstream. And in those coffins, there's Russians. And the other one's like, listen, but what kind of dream is that? I mean, like, there are different Russians. There are good Russians. There are bad Russians. He's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Good Russians in good coffins and bad Russians in bad coffins. I don't care. Can count Russian oligarchs falling from windows instead of sheep. So like Russian oligarchs falling from windows into the sea, all right, on the Hurghada shore with like tiger sharks. That's even cooler. Zelensky is also 5'7", 170 centimeters. Yeah, but imagining, for example, President Zelensky somewhere in the boxing ring with Vova, despite all that PR and judo and all that stuff, bear riding and whatever, I have zero doubt about the outcome, all right, of this sparring. I have zero doubt. I've never turned down a man due to his height. I tell you this, one time I went to the gym. We had this boxing sparring, and I was sparring with a tiny dude. He was little. He was obviously lighter than me, which is crazy because I'm a skinny guy. All right. He's not only comedian, I tell you that. President Zelensky grew up in Kryvyi Rih. Kryvyi Rih, that's like Bronx and Harlem combined and multiplied by 10. The people from Kryvyi Rih are actually tough. So I had a sparring in the gym, and the guy was much shorter and much more experienced, as it turned out, because I was mostly pushing, I was mostly advancing because I was taller, and every time I tried to throw a jab, before even my jab, reaches something, I receive some kind of response, all right, before I even think about it. And I almost broke a nose. So the dude turned out that the dude was like, the type of outfighters, like the boxers who counterattack all the time. They just like retreats, and they counterattack all the time. They're so good at it. I freaking more than them, I hate probably wrestlers. All right, respect and hate, it's 2 in 1, because as a boxer, I believe that wrestlers are sketchy, but the outfighters like that, they are dangerous. They're very dangerous. They're dangerous and annoying. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. I agree on that. Of course, if you have at least some kind of experience in boxing, for example, then of course, then yeah. But if a bigger dude has also experience in boxing, then who knows? Like that, remember I told you about that PDF file that I encountered in the bus once. That was also kind of weird encounter, because the dude was older, but he was bigger, all right, and more massive. So me with that time I think I was around 77 kilos. And the dude was around 100. He was like a big man, all right? And when we started throwing punches outside, the only thing that saved me was that he was zero at boxing at all. Like he couldn't fight at all. He had experience in fighting, obviously, because he was like very aggressive, creepy. Yeah, I agree. He was aggressive, creepy, kind of drunk, a bit not drunk, maybe tipsy, but and he was like sociopath, like the real one. And the only thing that saved me was literally because I was younger, and despite that I was lighter, but I was more experienced in boxing. So he didn't like that encounter. Yeah, but I couldn't do much because on my back I have a backpack full of stuff. I have a computer, and it's like computer from my job, a laptop, which costs a lot. And on my front there hangs a bag with a photo camera that also costs a lot, probably even more than the laptop behind my back. So unfortunately I couldn't do much, and frankly speaking, I'm happy that it finished the way it finished. All right. Yeah, but I can proudly say that I took a real PDF file out of a bus, and threw some punches. Wasn't really proper to end it like that, because it would be more proper if I could just grab him and take him somewhere to the police station or call police, but it's like waiting and yada yada. So but it was fun. Yo, brother. Everything's good. We were discussing so many things, all right. We discussed the recent updates from and around Ukraine. We discussed some more Russians affiliated with Epstein, plus direct FSB connections. We discussed food. We discussed martial arts. The correlation between the height of Putin and the evilness and things like that. We even discussed different encounters, all right, with sketchy PDF files. Yeah. Did that PDF file get compressed? He kind of did. I told you that story. I was in the bus and it was like November 2021. I was in the bus and I was sitting. We have usually 2 seats, all right, on each side, 2 seats next to each other. And I'm sitting there. In front of me, I can see this dude. Okay, and the dude already back then on the bus, he behaves like improperly. Like he shouts at the lady selling the tickets. Like, you know, usually don't do that. Like harassing people. And then at a bus stop, 2 girls come into the bus. I don't remember the age, could be 12, could be 13, could be 10, all right? I cannot tell. But I can see the girls coming in, so I get up, obviously, all right, and give them the place, so they sit down. And the dude sitting in front of them starts fucking touching them, you know, like touching their knees, like showing something, talking something, like, Motherfucker, first thing I do, I just lean down and I say, fucker, I will... Okay, I will not say it out loud, because that's like a death threat. And the dude is like, do you want to talk? And he stands up, I'm like, yeah, sure. And the bus stops at the next station. I'm like, after you. The dude steps out, I fucking push him in the back and jump after him. And he was so surprised. Welcome to Ukraine, suka. So we started like punching each other just a bit, but because he's he's nothing, like he's too slow and shit, he grabs me with his both hands, which is fucking extremely stupid because I have 2 free hands. So I start punching him between his arms, you know, and he's like, whoa, and he was so surprised. Then people, you know, start like taking us apart, separating us. Just like people, the bystanders. They start separating us, and I'm explaining to them that he's a fucking PDF file, right? You better call police. And while they do that, the fuck walks around the crowds and sucker punches me. So, but again, because he does it in very, very clumsy way, I punch him back. So I had a joyful sparring right there on the streets. The only shit is when people started like separating us one more time, I decided like, shit, I have so much expensive equipment on me, so probably I should just, you know, disappear, which I actually did. And while walking away, I noticed that I can smell his fucking sweat or whatever was on his fingers on my lips because he sucker punched me. I nearly fucking puked right there. Oh my god, fuck. Ooh. That was horrible. Yeah, but I showed you the picture. He was like big. He looked as if he was 50 plus, all right, but at the same time he was a big dude. He was like much more massive than me. Why PDF file? Well, because he was harassing two little girls on the bus. So yeah, shit. I still remember the stench from his hand. Holy crap. It was bad. And then I posted about it on the Facebook, and one of my friends said that she actually saw this dude and she had a fight with him as well. She saw him somewhere in the train, on the tram, and he was harassing some young boy, literally, and because nobody else would, protect that boy, she decided to do that, and she got fucking punched by this very motherfucker. And she's like, I know this dude. We had a fight in the tram. So I don't know. Maybe he's registered, because from what I noticed, he had some kind of mental issues. He was like too aggressive, too much harassing, towards other people. So probably he was on the list, list of people with mental disorder or something. First time I've ever heard about handstand. Well, yeah, I have no idea where he kept his freaking hands, but that was so gross, my friends. Shit. It was even worse than when I had a training with my friend, and we were in that hydro park, the open air gym, free for everybody, in the section for the fighters, and we were working with the pads. All right, so he holds the pads, I work on the pads, and then I take the pads for him and I hold them. And it's hot, it's summer, we're working topless, and I'm not an extremely hairy guy. My friend, he was like this, he had a lot of hair, and he was basically like wearing a shirt himself. And because he was so sweaty, I'm holding like the pad, for example, for him, so he works the hooks. Every time he punches, all the sweat from the hair on his arms goes straight into my face. And I'm like, like this. Fuck, that was a torture. And of course, I cannot tell him, like, in order not to embarrass my best buddy, but it was very, very gross, very gross. Yeah, but then if you're practicing, for example, wrestling, that's probably even more gross, all right? Because you find your face in such strange places that you cannot even imagine. Kama Sutra is literally nothing, all right, compared to that. So yeah, with that, my dear friends, I think I will be probably finishing this one. I'm sure that you enjoyed the last minutes of the stream, which most probably made you less hungry than you were, if you were, all right? I'm not gonna have a dinner tonight 100%. I'm not gonna do that. So with that, I would like to say big thanks to everyone. Traditionally, big thanks to our moderators, big thanks to all the members of my channel. Big thanks to all the defenders, everyone who supports Ukraine. Also, please check out the link in the description. There is a tiny fundraiser for the guys from my brigade. that we make together with Car for Ukraine. I will highly appreciate it because I really want to help my guys. So check it out. All right. And we will see you next time. I'll see you tomorrow. Traditionally, hopefully, we'll see you in the evening, and we will continue our conversation. Maybe I will dig something even more interesting on the latest topics. All right. So see you, and be safe. Don't forget to eat something. Bye-bye.